I'd say the general consensus in the fan base is that Power Rangers really hasn't been the same since Samurai. Ever since the Neo Saban's era took over, the show's overall quality has had a major dip, and while every once in a while we'll get a good season like Dino Charge per se, and I guess everybody's entitled to their opinion, like I said, the general consensus is that the show really hasn't been all that great for about the past 10 years. But now we are into the Hasbro era, and the show has definitely changed, and while some remnants of Neo Saban have been left in Beast Morphers, especially Season 1, most people seem to enjoy Beast Morphers and think it's a step up from what we were getting with the Neo Saban era. And while it's not like personally in my top 5 favorite seasons, I really enjoyed Power Rangers Beast Morphers, and Season 2 seems to be going pretty strong right now. So today, I want to talk about everything that was great about Power Rangers Beast Morphers, and what makes it different from other seasons in the Neo Saban era, and what makes it better. I was kind of taking a break from YouTube around the time that the season ended, and just my reviews and everything were very scattered, so I didn't get to do a full-on review of this season, so I'm sort of going to be doing that in 2 videos. This video where I talk about the best of Power Rangers Beast Morphers, and my next video, or it'll come out sometime soon, the worst of Power Rangers Beast Morphers. So I'm going to be giving each side a dedicated video and going through what was the best and worst of this season, and talk about Season 2 a little bit, since that is still airing right now. These videos won't be necessarily focused 100% on Season 1, but most of it will be pulled from Season 1 because Season 2 is still ongoing. I'll be talking about characters and locations and that sort of thing, so it really can be for both seasons. But you know, I could also talk about individual episodes, so you guys see what I'm getting at. Let's go ahead and get into it. The first thing that I have to talk about can be noticed right away in episode 1, the score. The music in this season, especially in season 1, season 2, I haven't noticed it as much, but the music is much better and much more fitting for each scene. I noticed that in episode 1, things were a lot more serious, and you could definitely tell so by the music. Some may not think this is really a big deal, and I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really noticed it much in previous seasons, but looking at Beast Morphers, they just did it right, and I guess I can't outright explain it to you, you just have to listen to it in the episode for yourself. Now, I know that a lot of fans complain that the show doesn't take itself seriously enough, and in episode 1, right off the bat, they do, and the music backs it up even more, and adds much more drama to the scene, you could say. And not just in episode 1, although they definitely did it best in episode 1, the fight music has been great as well, and we've been getting some remixes of Go-Go Power Rangers. We always have that, but here it's just a lot better. And like I said, I don't know how to outright explain it in a video, you just have to listen to it for yourself. So you might know what I'm talking about, you might not, but I definitely recommend at least going back to episode 1 and listening to the music in the background in all of the scenes. And if you are inclined to do so, I do want to remind you guys that the entirety of Season 1 for Power Rangers Beast Morphers is available on Netflix now, so if you want to go back and pay close attention to those little details that I'm talking about, you can do so if you have a Netflix subscription. Next up is the way they handle filler in this show. Now, filler has been very prevalent in Power Rangers pretty much from the very beginning, where most of the show was filler, where not much happened. And in Beast Morphers, I noticed, instead of just having complete throwaway episodes that do nothing, they'll have filler, but what they'll do is at the very end, they'll throw in something that progresses the story just a little bit further. I'm talking about the overarching story, not just the story of the week, you could say. Whether it's Nate hinting at a new power-up soon to come, or Vargoyle just showing up out of nowhere, they seem to just throw something at you at the very end of most episodes to get you excited for what's to come in the future. They just throw something in there that doesn't make the episode completely worthless and advances the story in at least a tiny way. And while it might not seem like much, it makes rewatching the episodes a lot more fun and makes those episodes in particular a lot more important to the overall season. And what I noticed when rewatching Beast Morphers is that I found myself watching a lot more episodes than I would if I was rewatching, let's say, Ninja Steel. You know, in Ninja Steel, there'd be a lot of episodes that I skip out on because I just don't need to watch it, but I felt inclined to watch almost all of Beast Morphers episodes because they throw at least something in there at you that matters. And the filler itself was also really good. I mean, just in general, they would focus on a certain character, and we've always had, character-focused episodes, but here, I feel like they meant a lot more. Like in episode 3, we had the relationship between Zoe and her mom. Episode 5, between Devin and his dad, which was very important. Episode 7, the relationship between the Rangers and the Beastbots, and so on. And even in really fillerly episodes, they would throw something cool at you. Like, remember Devin breaking his visor? They just threw that in there because they wanted to. They really didn't need to. They made a simple fight scene very exciting and something cool that we don't get to see too often in Power Rangers, with the visor being broken. I love rewatching that scene just because it's fun. And even if that episode had more filler in it than usual, they like to just throw that kind of stuff in there that made rewatching the season just so much more fun than rewatching almost any other season. They were always just throwing something new at you, and while Beast Morphers may not be my favorite season, or I might not think it's the most well written, I think it was one of the most engaging seasons I've ever watched. No joke. Something I really appreciate about Beast Morphers is that we get a lot more original footage than usual, which makes the transition between Sentai footage and our footage a lot smoother and a lot better. Most of the time in Power Rangers, the transition between Sentai footage and American footage is very clear-cut and obvious to notice. Here they throw in a ton, and I mean a lot more original footage than usual, and makes that transition seamless, and sometimes you barely even notice it. And because they decided to do a lot more original footage, we also got to see more footage of, let's say, the Dark Ranger or Blaze's costume, which was awesome, which only appeared a few times in Sentai, but was, prevalent throughout the entire season of Beast Morphers. And not only did we get new original fight scenes with the suits on, but a lot more civilian fight scenes and fight scenes between, let's say, Blaze and Roxy without their costume, or even with it on. It was still cool to see. Civilian fights had been really lacking in the Neo Saban era, so I feel like they more than made up for it with this season, where we got an abundance of that, and it was awesome to see. One thing that I touched upon earlier on in the video when I was talking about filler is the Rangers' relationships with other characters, and how they were handled this season. We got a lot of character-focused episodes, and a lot of episodes focused on the relationship between two characters, and what was most prevalent throughout this season is the relationship between Ranger and Parent. I said that really weird. Anyways, but in Power Rangers, especially recently, we haven't seen much of their parents. They were always just a big question mark, and this is in a lot of series, not even in this, just in the Neo Saban era, but in Power Rangers as a whole. It's just not something that the writers want to focus on, but they definitely made up for it in Beast Morphers, because it is everywhere. We had episodes between Devin and his dad, Ravi and his mom, Zoe and her mom, and even Nate, I guess, not having parents, or what happened to their parents, I don't even remember. Even Ben and Betty and their dad, every character was accounted for, and we had some sort of relationship between them and their parents. Now, was every relationship all that great, fleshed out, and perfect? No, and I'm going to get into that in my worst of Beast Morphers videos, but there were some that I could appreciate, especially Devin and his dad. That's one that I really enjoyed, and I wish we got to see more of something like that. It's that kind of stuff that makes the Rangers feel like actual characters, and not just cardboard cutouts of, stereotypes, stuff like that. A lot of what we got in Megaforce, you could say. But with Devin and his dad, you had a clear-cut arc throughout the season. At the beginning, there was a lot of problems there. They didn't understand each other. You had the whole job issue going on. And then at the very end, you had understanding. There was a lot of conflict and friction throughout most of the season, and then at the very end, there was this huge resolution. Devin's dad played into the finale. He went into the cyber dimension. There was this really cool scene between them when Devin was chained up, and I just absolutely loved this story. Yes, it was very similar to, let's say, Wes and his dad, so, they could have been taking inspiration from there, but still, they mixed it up enough in this season to make it its own thing. And that led to a lot of emotional scenes within the season, and going back to just everything good about Beast Morphers, there was more drama and there was more personal scenes. Much more emotional stuff that had been really scarce throughout the series up until this point, and I really appreciate it. And look, those dramatic scenes led to the score being a lot more serious, better music. You see how all of these little things play into each other and make a big thing. Individually, they may not dictate whether a season is good or bad, but if you put them all together and they're all good, then you really have a great season on your hands. And really, that's about it. There's a bunch of individual stuff that I could talk about in like certain episodes, but these are all the underlying things that make those little things that much better. And a lot of other stuff that I did like goes back to Super Sentai, so I can't talk about that as well. Like the suits, I thought the suits were great. The Zord battles were a lot more interesting because you didn't just have Megazord battles, you also had certain Rangers staying behind while certain Zords did their own thing, and it was very different. But that goes back to what Go Busters was doing, so you know what, I think I'm going to leave it at that. I'm sure that I'm forgetting about certain stuff, and later on in Season 2, I'm going to find even more things that I liked, so I'm probably going to make a Part 2 once Season 2 ends, but considering we're very early into Season 2, and Season 1 has already ended, this was more of a Season 1 episode, and then I'll kind of do a Season 2 episode as well, although the two kind of played into together. in this video, but still. And what I love about this topic is that we can talk about it even after the video is over in the comments, so let me know what you guys think is the best of Power Rangers Beast Morphers. Do you agree with me? Do you like the stuff that I like, or do you think some of the stuff that I like is bad? Let me know. You can still enter the giveaway to win a Lightning Collection Magna Defender, as well as a Legacy Collection Chrome Red MMPR Ranger. To enter, all I have to do is tell me in the comments what are you looking forward to most when it comes to Power Rangers in 2021, so I guess you have two things to talk about in the comments. You can enter that. I'll be announcing the winner next week on next Friday, so it's exactly 1 week from posting this video. And to clarify even more, there will be 2 winners, one for each item, so definitely enter into that. And that's gonna be all. I'm gonna have my worst of Power Rangers Beast Morphers video hopefully out by tomorrow, but sometime soon, so definitely stay tuned for that, and I'll catch you all in next video. Peace.